Salutations, humans. My name is Jaden, but you can call me Jane. Today, we are going to be talking about something interesting. Okay, we're going to be talking about how I got fired. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm twitching. I'm moving around. Yeah, I got fired. Okay, now I have more than one job, so I have another job. I'll be working there, and I want to talk about the experience, what happened to me, and kind of how things got to that point. If you're someone who maybe has gotten fired and maybe you don't know why, or maybe you're someone who just would like to know how to not get fired, or you're somebody who has anxiety over getting fired, uh, I want to talk a bit about those things and about my experience and how I feel afterward. So yeah, nobody wants to get fired. Maybe you can understand some of the choices that I made that led me to getting fired, and on top of that, yeah, we're just gonna have a good old laugh about the whole thing. This green light is crazy on my skin. Oh gosh, look like I'm powering up. Okay, so I got a sales job and it was paying pretty okay because there was commission and then there was also base pay there, so it was enough for me to actually get enough money to do a lot of things that I wanted to do, and that was nice because I've always had jobs that were like a few days here, 4 days, a few days there, or if not, the hours were really weird and whatever. Like the hours worked fine for me. I was like, fine, I'll just try and do this, and see if we can get it to work. So a big part of the reason why I took the job, like why I took it, was I wanted the challenge, right? Because I didn't see myself as someone who could be a very good salesperson, who could sell something to someone else and tell them, spend your money, like I would have all these thoughts about it. Like, I don't know what you want to spend your money on. I don't know what you need your money for. Why am I going to tell you that you need this when you might need this? And, thinking about all these things. And, I didn't have a very assertive mindset behind what I was selling. And what I was selling was gym memberships. I was selling, essentially health. I was selling get yourself in shape because you need to get in shape. Because if you don't, there are all these negative things that happen and will happen over time. And that was definitely a tough point for me because I'd worked in gyms before where they wanted me to do sales. I was like, I don't want to. But yeah, I took it for that challenge of saying, okay, like let's see, can I build myself up to be that person who can do this and can be successful with it? And I took that challenge despite the fact that there's many times over I never wanted to do sales, is because, I wanted to believe in myself. I wanted to believe in my ability to learn something, to grow, and to do a very good job, even though this might not be something I feel necessarily strong at. Okay, I don't feel strong in that particular area, which is fine, right? Just because you're not good at something doesn't mean that you can't be successful with it eventually. And also, it was a new environment. I wanted that new environment of working my other job. I still have that job, but I was working at it. I was like, you know what? I want to do something different, and I want to branch out. I want to try things. I want to learn something, see if I can develop myself in more areas. So I took on this other job. And side note, guys, if you have to work more than one job, do what you have to do. But I highly recommend, if you can just work one, just work one. If you can, like, you can do that. Not everybody can afford that. So yeah, let's talk about the work environment. This isn't going to be a video where I go like, that all this was wrong and I was fired unjustly. Like, no, I think it's perfectly reasonable what happened. And the environment was amazing, right? Everyone was mostly really, really positive, very great people. Boss is great. And maybe like one or two instances of things not being the best. But, it's a workplace. People get stressed. Things happen. But it was a very good environment. The people there, very nice and kind, and I enjoy getting to meet people. And I'm actually get some contact information for some people that I would love to hang out with and do stuff with in the future. So that's very cool. Now, how did I fit into the environment? How was I managing? How was I doing what I needed to do? And essentially, I had to. I'm a salesperson. I have a quota. I have to make a certain amount of sales to be a worthwhile investment for the company, right? And I needed to come in there and I needed to do my job, obviously, or you can't have a job. But more importantly, I needed to match the environment I was around. People were very positive. People were very motivated. Like, let's get better. Let's do better. Let's think of how we can improve ourselves. And that just isn't where my mind was all the time. It's never where it was. There's an inkling. There was a shred of my soul, that was there. motivated to improve themselves. And again, it's like a gym, it's a health environment. Everyone wants to be better. But that's not who I was. I mentally was not there. I was doing stuff like I'd finish work, I'd just come home, throw my shit down, I'd leave stuff super messy, eating junk food. I would work out, but I would still do things like stay up until 1, 2 a.m., like watching TV, movies, or playing video games, or doing like whatever on certain days. Again, I wouldn't do it every day, but I would do it enough where it would affect my own performance, my health, the way that I saw myself, the way that I felt about myself, and all of this at the end of the day is going to affect my own performance, right? So I knew better. I know these things. I know that there was a lot that I could have done to keep myself healthy, to keep, even like relationships, like even managing my friendships and my, things with my girlfriend and things with, all the different facets of life. I really want to visit my grandma and all these other things. And I'm like stressing about everything because I'm not taking action. I'm not managing myself well, giving myself enough time so I can go, okay, I can do each of these things and I can still come to work. So it led to me always feeling like I was behind because I would always waste my time doing things that I didn't need to do. And now I'm going to work, and as I'm traveling to work, I'm thinking about all the shit that I did back home, like eating the junk food and like wasting all this time, and I could have been doing this and I should have been doing that, and all of this is super important, but I'm not doing it. And then I have a very negative perception of self, right? And then when you're there, it's like, okay, I have to come to work and I have to tell people that they need to get started on improving their life. I need to tell them that they have to stop procrastinating, that they have to get themselves in a better mind state. And it's like, I'm not, I'm not eating the pie that I'm serving. Okay. I just made that shit up, but you know what I'm saying? Like I'm fucking telling people that they need to do this and I'm not representing that. So I felt kind of like a fraud and, you know, but that's not how it was the whole time. Okay. There would be moments where I was very much who I thought I should be, doing what I wanted to do. And on those days, work performance was really good. Things happened really well. But on the days where they weren't, of course, the performance wasn't there. So I wanted to stop this for a second just to say most important thing, okay? And let me get this out of the way because I didn't do it enough when I was speaking with people when I worked this job. If you are out there and you're struggling to be healthy, there's a bunch of reasons that you can decide to not be. There's a bunch of reasons you can tell yourself to not get to the gym or to not go for a walk or to not do these things. I'm here to tell you that a lot of this shit is just fucking excuses. Like, and most of it is just fucking excuses on excuses on excuses that you come up with so you can avoid doing the thing that's difficult. And maybe you can't do something the way that someone else does. Maybe walking for you is a legitimate problem. But maybe there's something, even whatever it is, super small that you can get started doing to improve your life and improve your health. You can always try to do something. You can always learn. You can always, and I genuinely have this belief that so many of us make so many bullshit excuses and why we can't do something, and we get very comfortable with life. And I hate having to say that so abrasively because I don't want to come off like an asshole, because there's people who look at me like, you don't know my life, you don't know what I've been through, you don't know what I'm going through right now. And you're right, I fucking don't know your life. I don't know how hard things are for you. I don't know all the excuses that you have to not do something that you want to do. You see, that's where like I'm sitting there. I'm like, if you want to do this thing, or if you know you have to do it, or you know you should, why not just do it, right? Why not put some effort in there and see what we can do instead of constantly thinking of why we can't. And that's really what I could never come across the way I wanted to, because I think I'm very harsh on myself. I'm very harsh on others sometimes when I perceive them, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to show you how much what you're doing does not make any fucking sense, because I'm gonna come off not nice, because it's a little bit annoying. It annoys me when I do things that I know are stupid, and then when I see other people do things that I'm like, there's a better way to do this. There's a way to do this where you can live a better life, you can be happier, and the people around you can be happier if you make better choices. It can be very frustrating. So anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. I just wanted to tell you, if you're out there and you're not getting active and you have all these reasons, I want you to really sit there and ask yourself if these reasons really make sense. If they really make sense, or if your life could marginally improve, or they can improve drastically with making healthier changes. Um, for some people, the difficulty of it is they don't have the knowledge. They don't have an understanding that maybe they struggle with sleep or stress, or maybe they have pains in their body, and maybe doing like physical activity would genuinely help, right? So, yeah, this is a big tangent on this, but I think that it's a very important part of this. Just because it's a message that needs to be spread by more people. So when I worked at this job, I had a lot of thoughts around negativity. I thought everyone was doing better than me. I thought that every time that I made a mistake at home or did something wrong, that it was gonna affect my performance at work, and I'm already getting close to being fired. I had this anxiety about being fired all the time. I was like, I'm gonna get fired within my first month. I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. Just over and over and over and over and over. And I was like, kind of manifesting it into real life, because I had these thoughts, but I didn't have the next most important thought when things don't go right. The second that my performance isn't good, or I'm not meeting a sales quota, or somebody comes up to me, which happened maybe 3 times or so, like, hey, like, we need to improve this, hey, these numbers need to get up. The second that someone says that this isn't working, I have to take that seriously. I have to go, okay, shit, we got to change something to get the desired result, because right now what we're doing is not meeting the status quo, right? And I didn't take that seriously enough. I had thoughts in my head like, oh, I'm just bad naturally at the job. I'm just naturally bad at this. I just can't do it, which is bullshit, right? It's not a real thing. It's stems from a lack of effort, which we'll talk about a bit later. I also had a very negative mindset. If I had failed, or a sale didn't go through, or something didn't go right, I would absorb all that negativity, and I would let all this negative self-talk get to me and weigh me down for the day. And that really was a hurdle, because it just decreased my performance again, right? I already wasn't taking care of my mental health very well. Physically, I was okay, but mentally, I wasn't there. And so it was very easy to crumble and fall and just struggle to continue and do what I needed to do. I was getting better at it, right? I a big takeaway from this job was learning, okay, I need to work on this, because if not, I can't work in fast-paced, very intense environments, right? I would find myself in certain moments where I just couldn't breathe or think. I was just completely overwhelmed, to the point where someone's saying something to me, I'm just not even responding. Like, it's that hard for me to keep together, right? And I'm like, okay, if I'm this fucking stressed, then something I gotta make better choices, healthier choices in life, so that I can actually function. But yeah, I did want to say, I thought like everything was negative, and there was nothing positive I would gain from my experience, no matter what, right? It's a very like defeatist mentality. Oh, this isn't going right, so therefore this is gonna be the worst, and I had that in there, but there was some positivity which I had to develop in order to survive for as long as I did, which wasn't very long. So let's talk about what I did at work. So what I did at work is I went in, I made sure I was super duper early, if not exactly on time, pretty much every single day, except for maybe once or twice where I was like maybe 1 or 5 minutes off. But yeah, I was always there. I mean, sometimes 2, 3 hours. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to show them that I was here, and I wanted to get started with work. And it was important to me because 2 things have happened twice in my life that I don't forget. One time I was late for a driving instructor meeting, and then the driving instructor got pissed off, and then he never taught me again. We had built up a relationship for a while, and he's like, "You're late today? Fuck you. I never teach you again." Never saw that dude. Other time is where I had a job and I was late for 30 minutes on a very important day, and then they just started cutting my pay and cutting all my hours. And I was like, okay, well, shit. I mean, that's kind of deserved. It's not like I didn't own up to it, but at the same time, you can't be late. Those 2 memories made it so I always wanted to be there on time. When I was at work, though, I kind of dreaded the having to do my responsibilities, having to do things at work, and whenever an opportunity would come in to do something, I'm like, I just don't want to fuck this up. I feel like I'm going to fuck it up. So I didn't want to get up and I didn't want to go because I'm like, if I fuck this up, it's going to look even worse on me, right? So it's a lot of anxiousness, a lot of, oh my God, I hope this goes well, right? Because I don't trust my own ability. I don't trust myself. I haven't developed a sense of self-belief in what I'm capable of doing. So I just feel like everything is super tense. I don't think I got this. I think, oh, fucking hell. Now, the important takeaway here is, so before I get to the takeaway, I want to talk about what I knew, right? So, like I mentioned, like, I knew I needed to change. I knew I needed to take care of my health and my mental health. I knew that I could have been fired. I knew I needed to do more work from home. Okay, one thing that I've always hated with certain jobs that I've worked is I had to take work home. I never want to take work home because I just want to relax and just goof the fuck off, right? But the reality is, in order for me to improve at my job and improve my performance, I needed to take things home, revise things, be very sharp, practice what I'm doing, try and look for new ways to improve, reach out to my boss, constantly try to get better. Because if I don't, then what's the point? Right? Why be stagnant? Why be satisfied with staying the same the whole time and barely making the mark? Like I'm just there, just existing, right? I'm not striving to improve, right? If I'd shown at least that effort, maybe things could have been different. I don't know, but I never really wanted to try because I wanted my own time to do what I wanted to do, whether that be try and work on a business or literally just goof off or do whatever the fuck I wanted, right? I was very much not thinking that, okay, well, doing this, I'm not safe at work. Things aren't guaranteed. I'm not guaranteed to show up the next week. Why am I not pushing harder? Why didn't I have that a mental note of like, hey, I need to get this done. I need to take this time where I would have spent with friends or on TV or whatever the fuck and just sit down and figure out how we can get better at this. Didn't occur to me. Or maybe, well, okay, that's a lie. It did occur to me. It occurred to me a lot. It's just I decided that, and fuck this green light, by the way. Fuck this green light. It's so fucking green. Ah, I'm blind. Oh my gosh, that was a flashbang. I can barely see shit. What I'm trying to say is, I know the things that I needed to do to improve, but I still made poor choices that affected performance. So at the end of the day, what happened, happened. And then I was like, all right, I wasn't mad. And I thought about the whole situation. And I was like, you know what? I've thought about it several times. I even had the speech in my head. I knew what I was going to say. I knew how I felt. And what I felt was exactly this. I wasn't treating the time of my bosses and employers and everyone who invested their time and energy into me very fairly, because they spent a lot in hoping that I would be a successful prospect, and then I kind of just didn't do anything with it. It's not like I wasn't given training or I wasn't helped or people didn't ask as much as they could. Like, how can we improve, right? We had talks like these. It's just I made the continuous decision to not try to do more. And I didn't try to do more for things like, oh, I have another job. I can always work my other job. I have this other business. I should be focusing on that. If I can't even focus on this, then how can I focus on that? And like, you pretty much any reason you can think of to prevent myself from trying to grow and develop in this area that was clearly weak, right? So because of all of that, because of me constantly finding excuses and reasons to not get started with improving at my work, well, then work went away. The big takeaway, though, is for work or for anything you do, just showing up is not enough. Okay, it's never going to be enough if you're looking to improve. If you're looking to get something that's really meaningful for you or for someone else, like if you just show up, if you just go to the gym and you just show up, that's great. You made it to the gym, you're doing exercises. Maybe you're like slogging through the whole time versus going in there with motivation, dedication, purpose of I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to do this and this has got to get done because I have these goals. It's completely different results that you're going to get versus just showing up or just showing up to work, meaning like you're just showing up to work and you're not really 100% trying to be the best. You just hope that you get your paycheck. You just want your paycheck so you can get the fuck out and go home and just do all that shit. And you're not invested into work. And That's a very hard thing for some people, and there's a lot of, by the way, there's a lot of fucking good reasons why someone might not be as present or as focused when they come into work, or have that motivation and then drive to constantly want more. But at the end of the day, there's some jobs where you can't have that mindset of, I'm just coming in here to do my job. I'm just coming in here to do this. Like, sometimes you got to come in there and you have to want something for yourself. And if you don't have that drive, you will be let go. Anyways, that is the video I wanted to make. I don't know when I'm going to release this. Hopefully within like the next day, because I have to do edits. Anyhow, bye. Take care. Peace. Post video editing, Jaden here. I just wanted to leave my complete and final thoughts. So one thing I did not cover is how I felt after, and I want to touch on that a bit. I feel good. I feel great, and that's precisely because I spent the time to sit down with myself, take care of myself mentally, and kind of go, okay, like, what happened, what can we do, like, where do we go next, instead of dwelling on the negativity. Think, like, how can I improve, how can I become better? And that fills me more with excitement and joy for the next chapter of, what happens, right? And of course I already have another job, so I'm fine, but it was more so just that experience and what I felt. And I also felt like this isn't just a good thing for me, but generally it could be a good thing for them, because if they get a better employee, they get someone who works there better. That might mean they make more money. If they make more money, maybe everyone's doing better. Their bosses are feeling better, which makes the employees feel better. Maybe someone gets a raise. Maybe, you never know where that business can really go if they get exactly who they need for the job. So yeah, no ill will on situations like these, but yeah, now goodbye. Real editing. Goodbye. See ya.